as long as we've been waiting to get on.
Welcome to After the Game with Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. It's time to break down all of the action from tonight's game. Now from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios mobile unit, here's Jim Coyle.
Well, not Jim Coyle tonight. We're going to do things a little bit differently. Jim is attending the press conferences in an attempt to get on the air a little quicker. I'm going to go ahead and do the opening, and Jim will join us after he's completed the press conference and hopefully give us some great insight into what was talked about after a game like this. Quick recap on the game: Indiana versus Arkansas Little Rock. Final score 87-68. If you watch the game, obviously it was much closer than that throughout the game. Highlights are the key points of the game. Trace Jackson Davis didn't play. He was in street clothes. Trey Galloway in street clothes. Anthony Leal, street clothes. Don't think it's anything to be alarmed about. I think it's just precautionary is what they kept saying on TV. Trace nicked his back up a little bit in the Xavier game. I think we all saw that. So, it's just early season. All of us fans, we would love to see, him go out and score 30 again tonight. See Trey Galloway continue to get better and energize the team. But at the end of the day, I think we're all excited about the November 30th game with North Carolina, and then the start of the Big Ten season right there as soon as December kicks around. And then we've got Kansas and Arizona, obviously, in December. So those are the games that they're obviously gearing up for. So just quickly recapping the game, it was a close game throughout, which honestly, I think as a fan afterwards, this is the kind of game you really wanted. A ton of great minutes. Oh, I guess I'm just not going to comment on my headband. Race and I are now headband brothers. If you saw how he played after getting his head cut and had a headband throughout the second half, plus my better half is out of town visiting her family for Thanksgiving, and you leave me at home alone, and this is what you get. So deal with it. I'm enjoying myself. It's my birthday, so I can do whatever I want. So that's the way it is. Race Thompson was really unstoppable tonight. This was a game we obviously with Trace would have completely overmatched him on the inside, but Race Thompson, this was a kind of a great, in my opinion, a great situation to allow Race to get himself more involved in the offense and in the game itself. And I think all fans would probably agree a little bit that, it's one of those, Race hasn't had the best start of a season for his fifth year. And he's played well. He just hasn't, filled the stat sheet as much in scoring. And so people think he's, maybe not played as well. And so, Richard, thank you from the birthday wish. Appreciate it. But this was great for Race. One, you saw as soon as Indiana came out, they started trying to throw the ball into Race, trying to revolve the offense around him and Malik. It was awesome to get Malik a start. I'm sure that's his first start at Indiana. That's going to feel good. He's probably not going to start very many games throughout the year, barring an injury, which let's all hope, cross our fingers that doesn't happen. Hang on. I don't do this ever, so I've already forgotten to thank our awesome, wonderful sponsors. So let me do that real quick. Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, the Endeavor Hospitality Group and the WOW Network, obviously the Eagle Point Studios for hosting Jim's Indiana Sports Beat radio show every day. None of this happens without them. So special thank you to all of the sponsors for our show. Getting into the stats of the game, Race Thompson, this is the kind of game he needed. As I was alluding to a minute ago, you guys all know I get off topic real quickly. But Race Thompson, this is the kind of game I think he needed. He put up 20 points, 7 of 8 shooting. Obviously, probably 6 or maybe all of those were dunks. Like the guys did a great job getting him involved in the offense and driving to the basket and kicking. As I said, obviously it was a close game for a good portion. I think it was a 6-point game with about 10 minutes to go. So, this was the kind of game I think And really, my tribute to the headband, the thing I loved the most was the 6 for 6 from the free throw line. That's a place that Race has struggled a little bit. We all know it's a place he's going to visit a lot. He's going to spend a lot of time at the free throw line. So this was a good opportunity. I know I'm the same way. As soon as I saw Race wasn't playing, it's a tiny bit of a mental letdown. But hey, it's good. It's good in the long run. You know, this is better for the team going through this big stretch run at the end of November and then all the way through December. So other guys who played great tonight, I thought Jordan Geronimo, this was awesome for him. He got a ton of minutes, not really 17 minutes tonight for Jordan Geronimo, but he puts up 11 points, and I think he had 5 blocks in the game, all of them pretty impressive. I think they all landed in the stands. So that was fun. That's a good opportunity for him to. I thought he played more minutes than that. It seemed like it, but apparently not. But overall, I thought Jordan Geronimo did a great job of being involved in defensive rotations and help. I thought Xavier Johnson, I don't know what you guys would think, but I was impressed with how, with Trace not being out of the game, or Trace not playing in the game, my first thought was Xavier's going to try to take over. Like, he's going to, you know, probably have 15 to 20 shots, and he's just going to try to take. Not a negative comment on him from my perspective. I just assumed that's kind of what would happen. But it's not. I mean, Xavier only took 6 shots for the night. He made his only 3-pointer that he took. He had 10 assists, 9 points and 10 assists. He missed a double-double because he didn't get enough points and probably because he didn't shoot enough. And so, hey, special shout out to – I never say that. I never say shout out. Special congratulations or great job or – to Xavier Johnson, because I thought he was big. Thought he got everybody involved. I think we all agree Jalen Hood-Schifino is gaining a little bit more confidence game by game. That's obviously a great thing. This team has a huge ceiling, but it is really, really going to be good if Jalen Hood-Schifino gets real comfortable in the second half of the season. Yeah, Michael, your comment. I'm with you. I love the way that Xavier played tonight. There are going to be games when he needs to take over and he needs to score more points. Obviously, tonight he got more people involved. 10 assists. It's probably been a while. I don't have the stats, but it's probably been a while since an Indiana player had 10 assists in a game. So, you know, that's a big deal. That's a lot of assists. I don't know how many turnovers. Yeah, 10 assists to 2 turnovers. That's pretty impressive. So, you know, obviously we'll take that. Miller Kopp making back-to-back 3-pointers. That's going to be gigantic. That continues to be huge. He shoots 50% from the 3-point line tonight. You know, I think this is the Miller Kopp we all thought would shoot like this last year. Hey, we'll take it right now. So continuing on with that from Miller Kopp, that's going to be big for Indiana. Yeah, I'm kind of holding off on talking about Malik Renew because I was just beyond impressed with, his mental maturity, and some of the plays he makes are veteran plays. Scoring the basketball, he's good at it. He's got great touch around the rim. I love that part of it. Obviously, most fans are going to. But, I mean, the pass that he made under the basket to Miller Kopp in the corner for a 3-pointer, you know, midway through that second half, and it was kind of at a time, I think Indiana was ahead by 10. Miller Kopp makes that 3. It goes to 13. And then the Small Rocks came down and made a 3-pointer right after that, cut it back to 10, and then Miller Kopp makes another 3 to go back to 13. That was a big series for Indiana. This is a game, let's all face it, we all probably agree 4 years ago, 2 years ago, this team may have even struggled to win this game. A lot of that, I'm not blaming the coaching staff. Don't get me going down that road. But a lot of, you know, what this team is doing right now is maturity. And that has a lot to do with just these guys are a couple years older. They're making better plays. They're better players individually. But I give a ton of credit to the coaching staff, you know, all of the coaching staff. Coach Woodson's awesome. You can tell these guys love playing for him. Having success for guys like freshman guys like Hood Schifino, CJ Gunn, Malik, that success is going to be big from a recruiting perspective. When guys in the 2023, 2024, 2025 class are looking at where they're going to go in, and a coach is not going to be afraid to play them right off the bat. I don't think Malik will start a lot of games this year, but he's going to play a lot of minutes. That's going to be a two-person rotation to split that 40 minutes, a lot like Purdue did last year with their two big guys. Both of them will probably play in the 18 to 24-minute range, somewhere in there. And that's a great thing. That's awesome for recruits to see, the young guys contributing so much, getting a lot of playing time. Is going to bring in more and more high-profile recruits, and that's obviously a great thing for all involved. So, Malik, I don't want to say surprised, because I guess I shouldn't be. He was ranked super high. Malik's Euro step, yeah, that was. I don't know what Euro that was from, but that was a solid 3.5 steps. Like, that was just a missed call. That was awful, but from a ref's perspective, but hey, more power to him. He put him in a position to have to make that call, and to see him be that comfortable with the ball. I think we heard Stephen Bardo comment about how comfortable he looks with the ball. That's 2 games in a row that Bardo had, and he sees players all over the country, especially all over the Big Ten. He was a big time player. He played with big time people, against big time people. Malik is a freshman, and the way he handles himself, handles the ball, makes great decisions with the ball. That's a pretty good sign when you've got a guy like that, feeling that strongly about your game. So, I mean, surprised shouldn't be the word, I guess, but Malik is just a pleasant thing to have on your team. And he looks like a fun guy to play with. He's not selfish. He goes and gets a bucket when he needs it. He overpowered. I think they mentioned that kid on the other team was 6'8", 245 tonight, and he moved him out of the way and scored a layup like he was a small child. So tons of good things going on with this team. This game, at this time of the year, we all want them to play, especially when the Maui Classic is going on, when you've got the Battle for Atlantis going on. All these teams are playing other good teams. And then we're squeezing in a couple of games with, not Power 5 schools. It's just the timing of it, because a month from now, some of those schools are going to be wishing they had our schedule. So, it's just the timing of it. I always love the preseason. It's like a mini March Madness. This feast week and these tournaments that they play around the Thanksgiving time is just, for basketball lovers, is just a dream. Like, it's awesome. I know a lot of people look forward on Thanksgiving to turkey and all that and football, but I love the basketball tournaments around this time. I know Indiana fans do too. I'm no different than anybody else on that, but that's kind of a recap on the game. One of the things I wanted to mention, and I forget who said it a minute ago, but one of you guys commented on they love the way Xavier played. Like, I made a note about something that happened towards the end of the game. And it was something I think it's worth talking about. And it wasn't in the stat sheet, anything that was big. Xavier Johnson, during a free throw, he got called for a foul on an offensive rebound for one of the Arkansas Little Rock guys. And it wasn't his man that he had to foul that came in and got the rebound. It actually was Tamar Bates' man that he was supposed to be blocking out. And after the foul call, Xavier Johnson went and got straight in Tamar's face and said, and you could obviously see the motion he was making, talking about blocking out. And when guys are holding other guys accountable, it's not just the coaches. Tomorrow in the film, that's going to suck for Tamar. Like, he's going to get called out for that, most likely. I mean, they play 2 days from now, so maybe not. Maybe he'll get lucky with that. But when you have, a senior point guard or anyone holding other players accountable, I think we've seen that from Trace and Race a couple of times already this year. That's when your team has a chance to be special. And, I think a lot of the older Indiana teams, and when I say that, I'm thinking back to the Bob Knight days, those guys held each other accountable. And primarily because everyone knew what was coming the next day if things didn't go well. So, the film session, will be an area where Geronimo, Tamar Bates, oh shoot, I can't remember his name. Oh, Caleb Banks. Those guys will have some learning opportunities watching the film tomorrow. But when you get guys on the floor in live action telling you didn't block out, you don't want to let your teammates down. Like, obviously the coaches, you don't want to get yelled at, but your teammates, like, you don't want to put them in position. What if this was North Carolina, and what if that was Xavier's fourth foul? That's the point of what I'm getting at. So, obviously you guys know I ramble a lot about different things. But I really love, and also I made a couple of notes about Xavier. Late in the game, you saw him, he can get, Troy Williams fast going up and down the court, out of control sometimes. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. And he was doing that up and down a few times. Indiana scored. They went from the lead being down to 7 to extending the lead up over, I think it was 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there. And at that point, Xavier slowed the pace down. He himself, coaches didn't say anything. He grabbed the ball, walked it up the floor, stood past half court, let everybody kind of get settled, let the clock run down a little bit, and then they started in their offense. That's a veteran move. That is, there was about 7 minutes to go in the game at that point. They didn't need to force it. They could have thrown it up for a fast break, but taking 30 seconds off the clock at that point was more important. And I just wanted to give Xavier credit for doing that. Our Indiana fans are awesome, and things that they, that a lot of other fans don't do or don't see. And so that's just some of the little things, that I'm nitpicky when it comes to stuff. And I wanted to give these guys credit because this wasn't, I'm trying to read. I got my phone here, so I have to kind of squint. Went in the building right before Thanksgiving with tons of injuries. Can't really ask for much more. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, that's, I'm not worried. If they had won by 4 points, I would not have been disappointed. Honestly, so many positive things come out of a game like this. Now, Coach Woodson's going to, we'll hear from Jim here in a few minutes after the press conference. He may be pissed. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. This is for sure a game, Coach Knight could have gotten mad about, or that I shouldn't go back to Coach Knight. Other coaches could have, they could find ways to get upset about something. Coaches have their own time frame and how they want to handle their team, and they don't need to let us in on that. And this may be a time when he's not riding them super hard. I saw him in a couple timeouts. It looked like it was a time he's riding them pretty hard, and that's probably the case all the way through, Jackson State on Friday, and then he'll probably ease up a little bit going into, next Wednesday's North Carolina game. So just some food for thought. This is a little different. Usually Jim can lob me some softballs here. Today I'm having to answer my own questions, and I'm not very good at it. So feel free to kick anything in on comments that you want to talk about. Again, thanking our sponsors, Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, the Endeavor Hospitality and WOW Network, Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, always. Those sponsors are great. And if you haven't been to the Southern Stone restaurant in Bloomington, the next time you come in town for a game, or if you are from Bloomington, go there and have a catfish bites. Among everything else, it's great, but the catfish bites will change your life. They're for real. Let's pick a player of the game. Who we got? Let's see. Let me read a comment here. You can tell Renew hit the floor pretty hard. Yeah, he did hit the floor hard. And, hey, if it hurts right now, wait till tomorrow and then really Friday. Like, it will not shock me at all if he's in street clothes on Friday, because that's probably when his tailbone and backside are going to be much more sore than they are today. And yeah, when he came out, and I thought he already had an ice pack on. Once he had the ice pack on, I didn't think he would come back in. But he did, so that's a good sign. It's obviously not something super serious. Race coming back in the game, I love that. Like, that's a fifth-year senior that just got his head bashed in and is bleeding out all over the place, and he gets rubs some dirt on it, and he's right back in there. So that was a great thing. I really was impressed with him coming back out there. Michael, Race Thompson, player of the game. Low-hanging fruit, brother. Like, that's pretty obvious. But but I'm just calling you out. Obviously, Race would be the player of the game in this. 7 for 8 shooting, 20 points on 8 shots. Hey, that's efficiency, and that's that's something you can't overlook. Let's talk about Jalen for a minute. He's going to be. I feel like I'm defending him, and I know I'm not defending him because I know no one's getting on him. I think I make that up in my head. I do hear, like, I've had people comment to me that they weren't sure he was as great as we've made him out to be. He is 100% legit. You heard Stephen Bardo. Oh, hang on a minute. Let me go off on this. Stephen Bardo does Indiana games all the time, and he made a comment in the first half that Race Thompson is not that athletic. Come on, Stephen Bardo. You know better than that. Look at the dunks he's had already just this year, but every year he's been that way. So, man, my cheeks are getting a little flushed. I'm nervous. I'm not. As again, Jim will join us after the press conference. I'm not used to doing this by myself, so bear with me. Hopefully I'll get better at it as the season goes on. I think Jim's going to continue to do the press conferences right after the game and bring us some tidbits and some, scoop from the press conference, find out what Mike Woodson thought of the game. We thought that would be a good thing to bring into the show, but we wanted to get on the air right after the game. So, we're going to let me fumble through this thing a little bit, and that is what it is. But back to Jalen Hood-Schifino, and I don't know why I feel like I have to call him by all 3 names all the time. Why can't I just call him Jalen? Everybody knows who I'm talking about, but for some reason I always catch myself saying Trace Jackson Davis, Jalen Hood-Schifino. I'm going to try to stop that. So let's start a band together where we just start calling him Jalen. But he is a pro. He is. If you hear, guys who work in the NBA and someone who evaluates talent the way that the NBA guys do, hey, thanks. Appreciate that, Rebecca. But Jalen Hood-Schifino is for real. A couple of his finishes as a guard around the rim tonight, and not just tonight, in all the games. He's a dude that he does things that I guess are unnoticed because people aren't thinking he's as great as he was advertised. I think he's better than advertised. He's going to be such a big part of this team. This is Trace's team. There's no question about it. But there are so many other good parts of this basketball team. We can just go down the list of guys. Logan Duncombe came in. He played terrific tonight. I know Stephen Bardo commented on an embarrassment of riches Indiana has on guys that can come in and play on the inside. And, I mean, it's really an embarrassment of riches all the way around. I mean, they've got just a ton of guys that come in and contribute and do good things. CJ Gunn's not going to be able to get the playing time he would get at some other schools, in the Big Ten in his freshman year. He's going to eventually, but there's just not enough minutes. These guys are good. Jalen's good. Xavier's good. Miller Kopp's good. As long as he's making shots, his minutes need to stay where they are or increase. His shot attempts will increase. Once you get into Big Ten play and some of those things, there'll be a lot more interior defense. I think we'll probably see some teams throw zone at Indiana. Miller Kopp is going to be a gigantic part. It's funny, like I keep looking down the list. I'm like, oh shoot, I need to mention him. But this team's deep and it's fun. The question there: do I see CJ Gunn's role increasing throughout the year? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think there'll be games when he has a pretty big role, but I'm not sure that he will, immediately jump in and have a 15-minute per game, right off the bat. Hey, as we can see, we've been joined by the Mr. Press Conference himself, Mr. Coyle. How are you doing this evening? Oh boy, he's freezing up on us. Oh boy, man, oh man, oh man. I was feeling good. I thought I was going to get a break here, and you guys are going to get to listen to somebody else talk, but he's frozen. He's frozen like the Disney Channel. Yep. Wave him off. Get him out of there. Reconnect, Jimbo. Geronimo, there was somebody made a comment. See, I have ADD, so I don't remember what the last comment was, but Geronimo. CJ Gunn's role. I don't think he'll be a 15 to 20 minute guy. I think there'll be games when he comes in, gets hot, and he'll stay in the game, or get another shot in the second half to come out and play a few minutes and be a big help for Indiana. I could be wrong. I'm not at practice every day. Maybe he'll have a bigger role earlier. I'm not sure. He's going to have a great career at Indiana. I hope he sticks it out. The transfer portal goofiness, you never know what's going on, but Geronimo's a terrific defender like OG. I mean, if we went back and took OG Anunoby video from his sophomore year and put it right next to Jordan Geronimo, it took their faces off of it, I think you'd have trouble deciding who was who. Like, they are the same person. Hey, Jimbo, how's it going, buddy? Oh, Mike, can't hear you. Turn your mic on. Hey, if anybody knows Jim, they know what words are coming out of his mouth right now. He gets so frustrated. He talks like I do. But, Assembly Hall is an old building, and their internet obviously isn't great. So we'll just keep trying. He'll keep popping in on us. I don't know. We've gone 26 minutes here so far. If we can't get Jim connected, we probably won't go much longer than 30 minutes here. But, yeah, let's go with player of the game. I think Mike said.
How you like me now?
Hey, now we like you.
These things, because we use them so much in different places, every time you get off, they jump off of the connection that you have them on for some reason, and you got to go back in and reconnect to the different mic source that you're using. It would be nice if we had producers to do all this stuff beforehand. We're not big time, baby.
We're getting the best version. We're getting the best version of Jim Coyle right now because we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh, you can't see me? That's even better.
We can't see it. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. This is the best version of Coyle we could have.
I love it. That's perfect.
Press conference. Any
Nothing earth shattering. Just TJD is just precautionary, of course. They've got North Carolina coming up. Why would you put him in this game? You saw what happened today. I mean, man, it's like, wow, they were already the walking wounded, and I thought Malik Renew took that hard shot when he hit the floor, went to the locker room, but he came back and played okay. There's a few guys that hit the ground today, but it was good to see Indiana have to play without Trace Jackson Davis, to have to figure out what they're going to do if he's not in there for some reason, because it's very possible to happen at some point for whatever reason, like tonight.
Pick up a couple fouls early in the game. I mean, you may not have to play the whole game without him, but you need to learn to play, 15 minutes without him to finish out a half, for sure.
Speaking of fouls, you had to be extraordinarily happy. Xavier Johnson did not pick up his first foul until over 2 minutes into the second half.
You don't know how excited I was about it. When I saw 0 at halftime, I was so happy I couldn't even tell you. But, I mean, I thought this was obviously he scored tons of points, and we don't win the Xavier game without Xavier. But I thought, minus the points, I thought he played just as good tonight. I thought he played great. He got everybody involved. I was super impressed with the way him as a floor general tonight was impressive for me.
There you go. There's what they have to listen to me all week, man. They don't need to listen to me on the weekends.
That's a good point. Good point. Hey, you're not even going to comment on my headband?
I meant to. There's so much going on. I love the headband. It's the first thing I saw, but as soon as things started going wonky, first of all, where did you pull a headband out of?
Yeah. All right. So Jess is out of town, visiting her family in Virginia. So I'm home alone, and I went and pulled one of her headbands out of the shower because it was the only one I could. It was the only one I could find. So I got on her headband. But I mean, the way he played in the second half, I mean, that's headband worthy. Like I'll wear one if he doesn't wear one against North Carolina, I'm going to be surprised. I'm going to be mad. I'll wear one to the game if he'll wear one.
I sent out a tweet that he looks like he's such a warrior that he looked like the guy from the drum and bugle corps from like the 1776 photo deal, man.
Some of our older listeners will remember the MASH.
Oh, absolutely.
The guys with the bandages around their head.
He was almost perfect today. The only shot that he missed was the 3-point shot that he took.
Yeah,
perfect at the line, perfect from the field. Other than that, a yeoman's like effort, man. He just goes about his business I'd say kind of under the radar, but you can't say that with the throwdowns that he has, man. He's not under anyone's radar.
The left-handed throwdown tonight, the one the other night where it was a tip dunk, that was awesome and crazy. But the left-handed dunk tonight, those of us in the dunking world, it's not easy to dunk with your opposite hand. And that was full blast down the street, down Main Street, and just rocked the rim. Like that was badass there.
For the rest of you, I'll say it. Well, we don't know about that from either hand.
Yeah, I don't
what
either.
that's like.
Yeah, I don't either. Hey, we've all played on an 8-foot goal. Everybody has played on an 8-foot goal, so we all know what it's like. We all know
baby.
what it's like.
Hey, that is some of the most fun I've ever had is playing those games.
I'm telling you right now. One of two things. If I were 6'10", or if the rims were only 9 feet, it would have been legit.
Straight up, baby. Still be playing probably.
I would have been considered athletic at that point.
Still be playing.
Let's not go there. I turned 52 today, Jim. You're not even going to wish me happy birthday?
That's right. And it's Todd's birthday. I wished you a happy birthday on the show today,
I know you
by
did.
the way.
Did you? Thank
yes.
You. Me and Steve Alford. You wish Steve Alford happy birthday, too?
I did not know it was his birthday. So happy birthday to Stevie Boy out west. He should have invited you out to Nevada as a gift.
I would have gone. Yeah, look, we've shared birthdays for 52 years.
I was going to say for quite a while. It's been a minute.
Yep, it has been a minute.
The shooting, Indiana ends up shooting 35% from behind the three-point line. I asked Mike Woodson in the press conference if he's worried about these continuous slow starts to this shooting. They end up kind of catching up, shot 35% on the day. They got on a run there. They hit 5 of their last 10 after starting 1 of 7. And, he's trying to be a coach and say, well, I'll worry about those games when they get there. But you've got to have some concern because when you play those teams and you're shooting 1 for 9 or whatever from behind the three-point line, you're going to need those shots to go down if you're getting clean looks. And some of them were clean looks.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jim, here's the bottom line. You can turn on Arizona, North Carolina, no matter who it is. You get a team that runs a great offensive possession. They reverse the ball both sides of the floor so that Seth Davis is happy. And once it goes to the other side and the guy dribble penetrates and kicks the ball out to someone and that guy makes the shot, it's an awesome possession. That guy misses the shot, we don't ever say anything about it again. It just goes on. And when you add up a bunch of missing the shots in a row, then you start to say, oh, my gosh, is this team not that great of shooters? So, it's one of those things that when the shots go down, your offense, you're going to be looked at. I mean, what do we all look at? Creighton. We all think Creighton's a great offensive team because they score tons of points. Like they shoot the ball well. That's all it comes down to. That coach isn't any different than anybody else. That he just recruits shooters. So, anyway, I'm just getting off on a tangent. But yeah, if the shots are going down, it's going to make Mike Woodson look better. It's going to make the whole team look better. And it definitely makes the offensive possessions look better.
There you go. That's your favorite. Bill Walton wore a headband in the 70s and 80s.
Dude, come on, Tebow. Why would
favorite.
You go there?
That's Todd's favorite,
Why
man.
would you go there?
That's Todd's favorite. Hey.
No, that guy's terrible. I haven't seen him all year this year. Is he done? Thank goodness.
No, he's not
in
done.
Maui.
Well, he's not done. But, hey, just think. Unless he retires, UCLA is going to be in the Big Ten here year and a half.
The only bad part of the Maui Classic is when they do the cutaway and they show him and Jay Billis shirtless out on the beach. They do it every year. Yeah, it's awful. That's the only it's like watching a horror movie and I try to make sure that that's the part I can't see.
No one needs that. Let's see, Jordan Geronimo. Great day for him.
Yeah. I ran down stats a little bit earlier. Tamar Bates with eight points. He played well. How about him being the free throw shooter? How about him being the guy we send to the free throw line?
Yeah. What did he do with those? I remember when he went to the line. No, but is that when Race got hurt?
Yeah, that was the technical for the flagrant.
But see, Race was being tended to, I believe.
But it's a technical. Can anybody? Oh no, you're right. So the other team got to pick who shot him. That'd be interesting. I wonder why he shot him, because it's a technical. I would have thought Race would have had to shot him, but he was
because he was out with an injury.
Does the other team get to pick who shoots it? Isn't that the way it is?
I think that's Little League. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Did I make it? I might have made it
No.
up. I might have totally made it up.
That sounds like some European thing, though.
Yeah.
How about Indiana ending the game on a 9 of 10 run, and it was damn near 10 of 11. They had a 3 that, Kaylin Banks hit a 3, but was out of bounds. That would have made it 10 of 11 with the 3-point shot on top of that. So that's another 3 that would have went down and would have actually raised their percentage probably to, I don't know, 36, 7%.
A bit. It would have raised it for sure.
Which pretty close to like what you would consider acceptable anyway. It took them all game to get there right up until the end, but they finished the game strong. Mike left that secondary group in there, and they kind of started letting it go a little bit, and he put the big guys back in, and they finished strong. Like I said, 9 of 10 from the field. That's pretty damn good effort there.
Yeah, and when you look at what you get out of a game like this, it's better for him for it to have been kind of a close game with 8 minutes to go.
And they also held Little Rock to one of their last 7 shots going down. They were scrappy little team.
Here's the thing. Today and tomorrow, we'll remember it was a tight game with 7 minutes to go. 2 months from now, or when we're in March Madness and we're looking back on it, it will never cross our mind. It was a 19-point victory. Like you'll never think about it.
No, it's just like someone mentioned earlier, Michigan was tied right now with Jackson State.
Jackson State, yeah.
Now they lose that game. That'll stick with you.
Yeah,
but
they're not losing that game.
Is Michigan not as good as we think? Because
I don't know who we is, because I don't know who said that they were going to be that good. I mean, they've got Hunter Dickinson. I mean, that dude is really, really good. Howard's son, Jed Howard, he's legit. Other than that, like they're not. They've got a super talented
a guard, but yeah, they're not. They're dang sure not deep like Indiana. So I don't know. From what I'm seeing from them early on, man, they're not passing the eye test right now.
Yeah,
it's not just one game.
Here's the thing, though, Jim. Like I totally agree with you. Everything you're saying, I agree with. But they are. They can beat anyone. Like they are capable of throwing a great game and beating North Carolina or Indiana. Like they're capable of that. But they're also capable of losing to Ohio University, like we got them talking about on there.
Hey, you can still Bill's saying,
Stop it, Michael.
Conference of Champions, baby.
Yeah, he's just poking the bear.
He says you look better than Walton with the headband. If that makes you feel any better.
I could put this thing on a turd and it would look better than Bill Walton.
What else stood out from you? I know that you talked about quite a bit before the game, so I'm not going to.
I went over a bunch of how I thought Xavier had a great game in controlling the pace of play. He had 10 assists. When's the last time an Indiana player had 10 assists? Doesn't happen very often.
That's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
And he shot 50% from the field, 9 points, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds.
He missed a double-double because he didn't score enough points because he didn't shoot. I think he only shot 6 times.
Yep.
So
and he was 50%.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
that was a good all-around game. I thought he controlled things really well. I commented on the fact that I thought this was a good game for Indiana from the standpoint of it was a little bit closer. Let me say this, and I'm not trying to be Bill Walton and say, "Well, when I played," but playing in a game when you're ahead by 25 or 30 is not easy. Are you supposed to be patient? Are you supposed to shoot quick? If you're open after 8 seconds on the shot clock, are you supposed to shoot it? Are you not supposed to shoot it? Well, you're open, but if it was a close game, you would shoot it. It screws up the rhythm of everything, and it's not fun. Like, it's not fun to play in a game when you're up by 25. Now, I want them to win by 25 every night, but from a player's perspective, it's not that easy and it's not that great because it changes your mentality of how you do things, and that kind of sucks. Like this was a good thing for Indiana because they couldn't do that the second half. Like, they had to take good shots. Miller Kopp making those 2 threes when it went from 13, and then they made one go back to 10, and then he made another one back to 13. That's huge. That's a big swing they're going to have against a Michigan State or somebody.
Miller ended up shooting. Then he ended up shooting 50% from three. So
yeah, he was
3 of 6.
Was 3 for 6. Yep.
All of his shots were from behind the arc, and he hits. You'll take that all day
I
long.
don't care
and
if
twice
at the
on
end
Sunday.
of the season they say, hey, he only took 2 2-pointers all year. Like, I don't care. Like, I hope all of his shots are 3-pointers. I just hope he shoots more.
Indiana now takes on this Jackson State team that just gave Michigan all they want.
Yeah.
Of course, neither of us have seen
Michigan's
this. So,
up 3. Michigan's up 3 with a minute to go in the first half.
Oh, it's still going on.
It came on after Indiana. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll get home in time to see the end of it at least. So, but
Yeah,
that would be very, very interesting. I'm not sure because they're playing in this Indiana Classic. Jackson State is. So man, they've got a schedule going, man, because they've got to get around and play Indiana and the other teams that are in the Indiana Classic as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a cool little thing the way they're doing it, but I mean, hey, all around a game against Arkansas Little Rock, or the Small Rocks as we call them. I mean this is a good. You have to have these games in there. It's not as much fun to watch, but you have to have them in there.
Let's see. I mentioned Jordan Geronimo. He hit double figures today. 5 of 6 shooting from the field. Of course, I don't know how many of those were dunks, but he also took 2 3-pointers and hit one of those. Looked very good.
Yep. Jordan Geronimo, I'll tell you, is one of the top 3 shooters on this team from the 3-point line. I'm willing to state my name on that one.
In practice,
he's one of the if they took 100 3-pointers, Jordan Geronimo would finish in the top 3.
He looks pretty smooth, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's got a good shot, and he works on it a lot.
Yeah,
he's got a super high release. Like he's got a good shot.
Tamar Bates 0 of 2 from behind the 3-point line, but those were the only 2 shots he missed. He hit 50% from the field. As a matter of fact, this entire team, if I didn't do the math, but if you took off Jalen Hood-Schifino's day, what do you go, like 5 for 12, I think?
You're falling into the trap. How come you just don't call him Jalen? We don't have 2 Jalens on the
I don't know.
That's
a good question. I don't know. It's a great question.
I started
JHS.
I started a pact with all of our followers and listeners on here that we're just going to start calling him Jalen. We don't have 2 Jalens.
Okay, Jalen. You take off his day.
You can't even do it. You're not even comfortable doing it.
I did. I said Jalen.
I know, but you're uncomfortable.
It hurts a little bit. It's weird. It's like this changing your golf swing, man. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. But yeah, if you took off, actually, he ended up 6 of 13 on the day. Not bad. I mean, that's just under 50%.
Yeah. Hey, people are worried about him. And I said, obviously you were in the press conference, you didn't hear it, but I said early on, I am not worried about him at all. He's a pro. He is playing great. Actually, I take that back. He's not playing great. He's getting more comfortable every game. And games like this are awesome for him. He is going to be, if Indiana makes a gigantic deep run in March, Jalen is going to be a big part of it.
Well, a great stat line, to be honest with you. 13 points on 6 of 13 shooting, which is at least 45%. 1 of 4 behind the 3-point line. He just has to hit one more of those, and he's at 50%. Right. He was didn't shoot a free throw, but he had 7 rebounds to go with 3 assists on the day. That's a damn good day's work, man.
Hey, coaches love guards that rebound. So that's just a fact. And he rebounds every game.
He does. I mean, he's had
guard.
high rebound numbers for the last couple of games. And you talked about Xavier earlier. He has really I've been extraordinarily impressed by how he has just worked on running the team. When his shots come, he's taking them. I know you'd probably like to see him take a few more, but
hey, it's like you and I rehearsed this because you're repeating what I said earlier. I love the way he played.
Oh,
I did. I thought this was my first thought when I saw Trace wasn't playing. See, I'm not using his 3 names either. When I saw Trace wasn't playing, my first thought was Xavier's going to try to force some things, and Xavier's going to score 25. He only shot 6 times. Like I couldn't be more impressed with the way he has 10 assists. Like he just basically heard what I was thinking and said, "Shove it." He did the exact opposite. He was awesome. Like, he was great in this game.
Absolutely, and he's only going to get better. That's what's going to be so helpful for this team when Big Ten conference play comes. He's going to be ready. I believe him and Malik Renew both are going to be ready. And, Jalen Hitchfield and those guys, I didn't even mean to talk about him. Damn it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But that was Jalen. But I meant to Jordan, Geronimo, Trey Galloway. Those guys, they've been through it, so they're going to be ready too. So this team should be ready to play when Big Ten time comes around.
Did anyone in the press conference ask about Malik and whether they thought he might sit out or play on Friday?
You know what? I left
after the fall.
I left after coach because I was trying to get out here sooner.
Yeah, well, I mean, they would have.
I did not hear
Woodson.
They asked about Trace, and it's the same thing you're always going to hear. It's a day by day thing.
Day to day, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how he feels. Right.
Exactly. That's what they're always going to tell you.
If he does play, he's probably only going to play. First of all, I don't know much about Jackson State. I don't know if they're big guys. I don't know what they are. But probably depending on their lineup, it might depend on whether he plays 8 minutes or not at all.
Well, until this deal with Michigan, I would have not. I almost sent a tweet out that said I would not be surprised if you don't see Trace until next Wednesday.
Michigan's up 10 at halftime. Like, they're going to win by 25. Like, it's going to be what it is.
Yeah, if he plays, I agree with you. I think they may just see limited minutes just to get him out there, get him going. I don't know exactly what it is. It's something to do with his back. I'm guessing from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So, and that's not something you want to early in the season. You're getting ready to hit a heavy part with some banging games. You don't want an injury that's going to be lingering like that. So heal it now, get rid of it now and rest. Rest him until next Wednesday. I would personally.
Here's like, let me just put it this way. And I understand it. I totally get it. Here's what stinks. And this is kind of like what I say about LeBron and Steph Curry and guys like that. There's some people that came to the game tonight, and it's the first time they've ever been, and they may be the only time they have a chance to go to Assembly Hall and watch a game.
Boy, trust me.
And they didn't get to see Trace play.
Yeah.
I know. I get it. Trace is going to go down as one of the top 10 Indiana basketball players of all time. And it would have been cool for a little kid that is maybe only get to go one time or has never been in his life to get the only other side of it. But coaches can't think that way. Players can't think that way. I mean, LeBron's got to play 82 regular season games. Like, he's got to sit a few of those out. I get it. It just stinks for that fan base.
Yep. All right, man. I'm gonna let you go.
I promised everybody we'd be off of here around 30 minutes, so we lied.
Yeah. I'm gonna let everybody go so we can get everybody preparing for Thanksgiving. Man, it's here tomorrow.
Operation Turkey Time.
And then we're back here again Friday to do this all over again. At least it's in the afternoon.
Yeah, that'll be an early one.
12:30
game.
There's that.
12:30 game. 2:30 show.
Yeah. And then Wednesday, baby. Wednesday night is going to be for real.
That's a midnight show.
Oh my God! I'm
wondering.
I'm like, I may have to get somebody else on Wednesday. Ooh. Todd is going to be.
Yeah, you might.
This game starts after Todd's bedtime.
That's about the time I get up.
Holy crap! I was like, how's he going to?
I'm kidding, but you get my point. It's closer to when I get up than when I go to bed.
Trust me, he's like your papaw, people. He's in bed by 9. Man. He is deep. Well, man, I can't thank you enough. Again, as always, a great win for Indiana as they continue to notch them 5-0 now as they look to go 6-0 come Friday as they'll welcome in the number 1 ranked team in the country next week, the North Carolina Tar Heels. And I think that's going to be a hell of a game. I think that Indiana has a better than good chance to win that game. It just depends on if they do what they need to, what they're capable of doing.
We'll kick it around Friday. Kick it around Friday. We'll see.
Well, brother, I cannot thank everybody enough. I hope everyone goes out and has a very safe and happy Thanksgiving holidays. Cannot tell you guys how much we appreciate you so much.
For sure.
And have a good one. Todd, Leary, big thanks to you as well. Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir, and your family. And Joe, the producer, thank you for taking care of things tonight as well. We've had a great time with you as always. We'll be back to do it again on Friday. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.